topics. First, given the number of former Obama administration officials that are now in this Biden administration and the president's relatively light schedule, there's a growing perception that this is really just the third term of President Obama. What do you say to people who say that?
Who were saying that? Who's saying that?
You hear that a lot in the media.
Who in the media?
Different people.
Like you had a third term. And I used to say, you know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony.
I have a whole chapter in the Dying Citizen where I wrote about it. And one of the things I noticed with the ACLU, which used to defend without qualification or exception free speech, and now it has training sessions on how to fight hate speech. In other words, speech that you don't agree with is hate speech. And so the left doesn't believe in free speech. It doesn't believe in the First Amendment. We know that because we saw that with the Hunter laptop, where they tried to suppress the free expression and discussion and evidence that thing was completely authentic. We saw it with Anthony Fauci and the NIH, the National Institute for Allergies, Infectious Disease, CDC, the extremes they went to demonize and destroy the careers of doctors who said things like, don't think masks are going to stop the epidemic. You can't say that ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine in particular cases, in particular contexts, has some value. Well, it's not necessarily a dangerous drug. Can't say that. So that was the government, and it's the administrative state and the left that is against free speech. These are not liberal people of the 1960s. These are neurotic, dangerous clerks, and they believe in a message, a green message, a racial message, an ideological message, and no other message is allowed. That's what they believe in. They hate the First Amendment more than they hate the Second Amendment. They just don't believe it. They're not live and let live libertarians at all, believe me. And so that's what the whole scary thing about these logarithms and Google and Apple and Facebook and the old Twitter were about. They were using electronic rapidity to fortify their ability to suppress speech. They knew deep down inside that there wasn't some little Russian lab in the Kremlin where they took pictures of Hunter's laptop and they replicated on a 3D printer, and then they thought up all these messages, and then they photoshopped Hunter and put him next to a Ukrainian prostitute, and then came up with names like Tony Bobolinsky and made fake emails back and forth. And then they think, well, why not we have the word big guy? That sounds good. Oh, I like 10% better. Let's put that in there too. That's what we were asked to believe. We were not only asked to believe it, but our government paid Twitter to suppress any information that didn't believe it. That's who the left is. And when you lie like that, it just has an effect on people because they never apologize. I just wish that all these people at CNN or MSNBC said, we blew it on the laptop. We're so sorry, but we really didn't mean the collusion. We found out that was not true, and the pings at the bank also. And we kind of overdid it with the George Floyd when we walked out of the newsroom and said, hands up, don't shoot. We found out that never happened. We're apologizing. And Jussie Smollett, I know we idolized him for 3 or 4 days. He was a complete faker. We now admit that. We're sorry. But they don't do that. They never do. And they don't understand that people have collective memories and they remember it. And so they have contempt for them. They don't like them because they do that. And the number is growing. And as I said, they're starting to flex their muscles with these country songs or these boycotts or these TV shows or these dropouts where they don't go to certain things and they just don't want to hear it anymore. And they have nothing but contempt for them. And when they see Joe Biden at the beach out in front of a home that he got through ill-gotten, basically bribes, and somebody asked him, got a comment about Hawaii? No comment. I'm on my beach. I don't care if their beach is in cinders. He doesn't care, Joe Biden. He's just a construct. He's not even a president. He's just a figurehead. He's not even a figurehead. He's just a paper cutout, cardboard cutout Like you go to the supermarket and you see some full-sized local celebrity that's cut out of paper hawking something. That's Joe Biden. It's the Obamas, it's Bernie Sanders, it's the squad. They're running the country. They like him that way. They want him to run for re-election. He's a facsimile. He's a surrogate. He's an avatar. He doesn't really exist. He can't do the job. He doesn't know where he is. When he finishes, he can't finish a sentence. He slurs. It's the most miraculous thing I've ever seen. And they're just telling us that he's got a great presidency. He's dynamic. He's vital. No other president could be so busy and resilient as Joe. It's not true.
Keep government open. We have to do those imminently, more imminently even to address the full Obama agenda of building back better and I love to say building back better.
Here it is. September 1988. It is the start of the fall semester at the University of California, Davis, where Cheryl Welch is beginning life as a law student.
I grew up in Sacramento, California. I was a receptionist at Kaiser Hospital for 10 years. I decided that I wanted to go back to school, so I went to UC Davis.
But as her studies get underway, things change.
I know what normal life is, and life became very abnormal.
It starts with her telephone.
Usually you pick up a phone, you hear dial tone. But my phone, there would be click noises. There'd be a long pause, then static.
She has it checked, but the strange noises continue. Cheryl becomes concerned. It's the first of many appliances that behave erratically in her presence.
Things in my environment. All of the electrical equipment didn't work anymore. My computer, my TV.
Her unease grows as she discovers it's not only machines that act strangely around her.
Police cars started to follow me. I had a rock thrown at my car. Somebody tried to drive me off the road. I mean, I've never had a ticket. I've never taken drugs. People in my environment were acting out of character. I was acting my normal self. And people were acting weird. People turned against me. People would stare at you. Students would swear and spit on me.
Weirder still, random strangers on the street seem to know exactly what she's thinking.
I felt like I was surveilled. I thought somebody could read my thoughts.
Cheryl's personal life falls apart as friends and family drift away. Then, she's fired from her job.
It was like shock and awe. For 3 years, it was like that. I realized, this wasn't going to go away, despite my best efforts. That was a really depressing, blackest moment of my life. I just cried and cried and cried. I thought, why not just end it?
Fearing for her sanity, Cheryl seeks help.
So I went to my advisor, and I was having trouble academically, and he helped me get through this, and he was the only one that believed me.
Her advisor comes to a quick conclusion. Cheryl is the victim of deliberate and organized campaign of harassment. But who is behind it?
First, we checked out. We thought, maybe there's a psychology experiment. They're trying to stress you out. There was no psychology experiment. So I hired private investigators, and I tried to figure out if there were any bugs in my apartment. Nothing. And talking to my advisor, we both figured only the government would have this kind of control over your telephone or what you did in the privacy of your apartment.
Deciding to investigate, Cheryl gains access to government documents. They reveal the unthinkable. A top-secret experiment is subjecting everyday citizens to mind control.
Major countries have developed this secret mind control technology, especially Russia and the United States.
She's convinced the people who harassed her were under mind control and didn't even know it.
Somebody is making them do things, without their knowing it.
But why choose Cheryl?
You're going to need to experiment on a lot of people. You can't do it ethically, so you're going to do it covertly,
She thinks she knows what put her on the government's radar.
Before I went to UC Davis, I went to the Army recruiting office. I filled out the forms, I put in my application, but I went to UC Davis instead. And then after that was when this happened. After networking with other victims, they have that connection. Former people who applied to the CIA, former people who have relatives in the government or the CIA are often targets.
Are the minds of innocent citizens being controlled by government-sanctioned experiments? Is Cheryl Welch telling the truth, or are her claims absurd? Just another conspiracy theory that's impossible to prove? Maybe. But not if you listen to Nick Begich.
I think there's some good evidence that Cheryl Welch and many of the other people I've spoken with have been victimized by this electromagnetic mind control experiments. The weapons of this century aren't bombs and bullets and ordnance, but electromagnetic energy targeting the human being, which is a greatest revolution in military affairs since gunpowder.
Begich is an expert in government mind control. He is convinced the Pentagon has mastered a technology once thought to be science fiction, the ability to broadcast information directly into the human brain.
Our government began spending a lot of time looking at how to modify behavior of human beings. Going back to the Korean War, in fact, in a publication, Low Intensity Conflict in Modern Technology, they have a chapter on electromagnetic weapon systems, being able to not just to debilitate someone, but actually even to stimulate certain activities within the brain.
But how?
HARP is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project, which started as a joint effort of the Air Force and Navy. This is a very large array or field of antennas based in Alaska, radio frequency antennas.
HARP antennas transmit powerful radio signals into the upper atmosphere to study the effects on wireless communications. But Begich says HARP can also be used for more sinister ends.
HARP has announced several other programs and campaigns, and there's two areas that I got very concerned about. One was weather modification applications. The other was the effect on human beings. If you can modulate a signal that the brain locks onto, recognizes, and begins to mirror or follow the frequency following response. The brain rhythms change, then it creates a chemical cascade within the brain and the emotions change. Now the resolution gets finer and finer and finer. And it used to just to be about triggering emotions. You could change people's brain chemistry pretty readily, change their emotional state pretty easily. But when you get down to the idea of thoughts and being able to manipulate those, that requires a different kind of sophistication.
Can we hear sounds without using our ears? Not only is it possible, says Begich, he can prove it using sound recordist Brad Daw.
So what I'm going to demonstrate is a earth pulse sound wave. And what this is an infrasound device. It's just a small electronic circuit that we run a CD player playing some Bach into our circuit and then comes out through two piezoelectric transducers. So I'm going to place these transducers on your face. You're going to block your ears tightly. We put those in contact with the skin and listen.
Yeah.
So what do you hear?
I hear the music, yeah, loudly.
Right in the center of their forehead, inside their head, they'll hear Bach, just like they would with their ears, but the ears aren't involved.
It wasn't through my ears at all. It was basically, it felt like kind of it was coming from the middle of my head, no direction, and it was clear. So not through my ears at all, which is pretty cool.
Now we can do this wirelessly with microwave. So there's lots of ways to do it, and this just gives a very simple sort of workbench model that gives the principle so people can understand, yeah, you can really do it.
Don't you just love death metal? I got a headbanger to one. Now, this is a fascinating theory. But there's just one problem. I'm not sure these piezoelectric transducers are going to catch on as a fashion accessory. And frankly, I don't even know what piezoelectric means. But if we're to believe Begich, the government don't even need these.
Receipt Police, can you cancel please speaking?
I'm so glad you guys answered because Bankstown Police keep rejecting my phone call.
Oh, okay, well, thanks. Sometimes happens because they get really busy.
No, I've actually tried calling off 3 different mobile phones.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
It's a bit strange.
Yeah, but anyway, because I've dealt with them quite a fair bit, and I know you guys are, counterparts, as co-is, but, look, at the end of the day, my house's been broken into quite frequently. Bankstown Police are quite acquainted with me.
Mm-hmm.
They come around quite a fair bit.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone for a walk today.
Mm-hmm.
Come back home.
Mm-hmm.
Find my fish oil capsules missing. And F scratched on my front door.
What's scratched on your front door?
F, F. The letters
Oh.
F and F.
Right.
Okay?
Has anything been taken from the house?
No, not today.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the fish oil. That's it.
Except what?
The fish oil. Fish oil capsules, yeah, which was left on my bench top.
Right, okay. Was the door opened when you got home?
No, it was completely locked.
Right, okay. What about windows?
No, they were all locked. Now, just to let you know something, I'm aware of that program, STMP, Suspect Target Management Program. Are you aware of that, Constable?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah? Well, I'm a target of that program
Right, okay.
for the last 13 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And now it's come to the point where no more.
Mm.
Okay, no more. I haven't done anything wrong.
Okay.
I'm a qualified hairdresser. I've worked for over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I haven't done anything wrong. Haven't broken any law. I've never been to prison.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And now I'm subject to this breach of human rights program. Okay? Yeah, it's a breach of human rights program. Because people are innocent until they're fucking considered guilty. Okay? And I've been here for 3 years and I'm starving because they come and keep breaking into my home and stealing my food. I've had to eat dog food.
Okay.
Okay? Now
How would they break into your house if all the doors are locked and windows are locked?
Well, look, you're a police officer, right? So you know about audio surveillance, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, well, I've got audio surveillance in my home.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've left that in my home and I've caught them coming in numerous amount of times. And I'm no fool. I've analysed my neighbours and I've noticed how they walk and what noise they make when they walk. So when I listen to that audio surveillance, I know who comes into my house and who's not coming into my house. And it's been the same for the past over 3 years. And I've spoken to my housing manager and she's at a loss to help me with what's going on. I want out of this program tonight.
Well, that's not up to me to do.
Who's it up to?
Domestic violence liaison officers and government.
Okay, well, could you give me any contact or any direction as to sort this issue out? I mean, I'm willing to comply with whatever you guys want me to comply with, but enough is enough because I promise you, Constable, somebody is going to get hurt.
Okay. Well, what's today? Today's Friday. So domestic violence liaison officers will be back at Bankstown from Monday to Thursday, day shifts.
Yeah,
so
Monday, Thursday, day shift?
Yeah, Monday to Thursday day shifts. So they will start from about 7:30, 8 o'clock. So if you ring Bankstown or Reesby then, or Bastille, wherever, we can try. If you can't get for Bankstown, just ring Reesby.
Yeah.
We'll transfer you to the domestic liaison officer and you can speak to them directly about that being on the STMP program because they're the ones that actually deal with that and know more information about it.
Okay, can you please slow down and just tell me what was it? Domestic what, sorry?
Domestic liaison violence officer.
Liaison violence
Officer.
Now, where does this violence come into it? Because I'm not a violent person.
It's just called domestic violence. That's just, DV stands for domestic violence. So they're domestic liaison violence officers. So they're the ones that specialise and, with all the kind of information regarding STMPs and that. They'll know more information and how to get off of the world or, why you're on it. They'll be able to thoroughly explain it to you.
Because I've written to, the Human Rights in Geneva, and I've got a reference. A case number I've returned back to me. So that's also on these files because this is a major breach of human rights. Okay, well, I know you're a good human being. You've gone to the police force to do the right thing. I understand that, but there are people out there that are doing these things to me. That are drug dealers. Okay. They're involved in all sorts of things. I don't leave my home. I stay with my dog and I don't do anything. But yet this STMP program is recruiting drug dealers? How does that work?
Okay, well, that's what you think, but
No, that's not what I think. I'm telling you, they're freaking drug dealers and they're drug users. They're all meth heads. Okay? They're all off their heads when they're coming around me and harassing me in the street and doing whatnot. I've been going through this for over 13 plus years and I've reached my limit. My name is Andre Joseph Pitar. Okay, I live in Padstow. I've moved all around Sydney to get away from this thing and keep my head down. But yeah, it keeps coming at me like I'm some terrorist or some criminal and that I deserve it. I've never been to prison in my life. I'm a qualified hairdresser. I've been an apprentice. I've worked for all the hard yards. I've paid taxes for this program to be run on me.
Okay, well, I can't help you at this stage regarding being in the program or not. As I said to you, you'll have to speak to the domestic liaison violence officer. So call on Monday and have a chat to them about it, and they'll be able to explain to you why you're on it, how to get off it, and what to do, okay?
Okay, which police station, which local area command would be the best to deal with?
So the domestic liaison violence officer, they'll work from Bankstown Police. Which if you can't get through, then you're more than welcome to call Risby, and we'll be able to transfer you to their phone line, okay?
Okay, look, I'm so sorry that I'm so frustrated, but for the past 13 years I've been subject to this. I've been stabbed, I've been homeless, harassed by some of these guys with cats on their face to intimidate me. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not scared of nothing. I'm not scared of the devil himself, but I'm a law-abiding citizen and I don't want to go to prison. But if this goes on for the next 4 days, then you guys are going to come with handcuffs on me and take me straight to Goldberg prison because it's going to be that big.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. Hopefully you can sort it out on Monday, okay?
Okay, what was your sorry, customer?